Welcome to Go Fact Yourself, the Top 10 Lists podcast. You sent in some truly wild stuff this week. Articles, forum threads, the deepest corners of the internet dedicated to fan theories. And we dove headfirst into it all to bring you a top 10 journey into the most bonkers fan theories out there. The ones that actually have, well, a surprising amount of fuel behind them. Get ready, because your perception of some of your favorite stories might just get a whole lot weirder. Okay, let's kick off this top 10 journey with number 10.
What's immediately striking about these theories, and this one is definitely no exception, is how they take these, seemingly insignificant details from the stories we know and love and weave these incredibly complex tapestries of alternative meaning. It really makes you think.
Yeah, think about how we as an audience are constantly trying to make sense of things, sometimes in ways the creators never even dreamed of.
Exactly. We impose meaning.
Absolutely. And the theory you flagged at number 10, about Dora the Explorer, it really throws that into sharp relief. The idea, and brace yourself for this, is that Dora isn't just teaching kids Spanish. She's actually navigating a ruined post-humanity world.
Okay, now, when I first read the forum threads you sent over on this, the immediate question that jumped out was, what could possibly lead someone to that conclusion? From, a kid's show.
Well, the evidence, as the theorists see it, it lies in the world Dora inhabits. Think about it. There are practically no adults around.
Right, that's a big one.
You often see these hints of broken infrastructure in the backgrounds, and the environments are always incredibly overgrown, like nature's just completely taken over.
And as you pointed out in one of the articles that discuss post-apocalyptic tropes, that imagery, the absence of authority, the decay reclaimed by nature, it's a classic motif, isn't it?
Totally.
So the visual cues are certainly there for that kind of interpretation if you look for them.
Exactly, and it gets even more specific. That ever-present singing map. According to the theory, that's salvaged knowledge from before the catastrophe. Dora is essentially piecing together remnants.
Wow.
And her talking backpack, that's supposedly a fragment of surviving military AI, just with very limited kid-friendly functions.
It's fascinating how these familiar elements, designed for one purpose, get recontextualized as survival tools in this imagined dystopia. It really speaks to our ability to find new meanings when we just shift perspective a bit.
And Swiper, that masked fox.
Yeah, not just a thief.
He's not just a little mischief maker. He's a desperate scavenger trying to survive in this harsh new reality. Even Dora's repetitive speech patterns, the way she constantly asks for confirmation.
Which is clearly a teaching tool in the show.
Right, but here it's seen maybe as cognitive reinforcement due to trauma or even like radiation effects.
That's a rather unsettling interpretation, isn't it? Taking something educational and reframing it as a coping mechanism in a bleak world. It definitely makes you reconsider the underlying tone, or at least the potential for a darker reading.
It really does. And when Dora asks the audience for help, that's not just breaking the fourth wall anymore. It could be her hallucinating or interacting with that limited AI in her backpack.
The AI simulating human interaction because real humans are scarce.
Okay. And Boots, your little monkey friend.
Yeah.
Well, some corners of the internet you flagged even suggest he might not be real at all.
A figment of her imagination in this isolated world.
Wow.
A coping mechanism.
This level of deconstruction is intense. It's like taking the building blocks of this simple narrative and constructing a completely different, much darker structure. It highlights how our understanding can be so heavily influenced by the lens we choose.
But here's where it gets really interesting. One of the forum threads you linked mentioned a Redditor, Jetstream Cactus 97, who apparently compiled a massive collection of screenshots from the show. Screenshots that seem to show bombed-out buildings and crumbling infrastructure subtly hidden in the backgrounds.
Hidden in plain sight, almost?
Yeah, like just fleetingly visible, easy to miss if you're not looking for them. That kind of visual evidence, even if it's open to interpretation, is always compelling. Someone dedicating that much time suggests a real investment in this reading. It makes you wonder if these were intentional or just accidental art that fans latched onto.
And to top it all off, that interview you found with a former storyboard artist for Dora, Jessica Keener.
Yes, I remember that piece.
Where she hinted that some early drafts of episodes contained much darker elements before being toned down. That's pretty intriguing.
It is. It doesn't confirm the theory, of course, but it does suggest the creators might have at least flirted with more mature themes. It opens up the possibility that there could be layers we haven't fully considered.
So what this all means for you, the listener, It means that cartoon your kids watch might actually be a subtly grim tale of survival.
A world gone horribly wrong, hidden behind sing-alongs. Okay, quite a start.
Okay, shifting gears completely now. Moving from one mind-bending possibility to another. At number 9 on our top 10 journey, we have the theory that Breaking Bad is actually a prequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Now, this is a truly creative leap, isn't it? Connecting the hyper-realistic, often brutal world of Breaking Bad with the whimsical, fantastical setting of Willy Wonka. When you first mentioned this theory from those TikToks you saw, I was immediately curious about the proposed links. How do they even connect those two?
The central idea, as wild as it sounds, is that Walter White doesn't actually die at the end of Breaking Bad.
Okay. Goes against the ending pretty strongly, but okay.
Instead, he somehow manages to escape and completely reinvent himself as Willy Wonka.
As Willy Wonka, right.
And the evidence theorists point to is actually quite fascinating when you lay it out. Both characters, Walt and Willy, preside over these incredibly elaborate, almost secretive factories.
Sure, they both have their empires.
They both have a very distinctive penchant for wearing hats.
The hats, yes, Heisenberg and Wonka.
And perhaps most disturbingly, they both use chemistry to create a form of candy. For Walter, it's meth, obviously, but the parallels.
The candy parallel is certainly provocative. It forces us to consider the underlying processes and motivations in a new light. Both masters of their craft using chemical processes to create something powerful.
Albeit in drastically different ways. And here's where it gets really interesting and a little dark. The theory also suggests that both characters have a rather unique way of dealing with children who they deem morally failing.
Uh-oh.
Think about the fates of those kids in the chocolate factory at Gustus Faruka.
Yeah, not great outcomes.
And then think about how Walter dealt with his rivals and enemies, including younger characters who crossed him.
The comparison to eliminating morally flawed individuals, especially kids, is a very unsettling parallel. It suggests a shared, deeply twisted sense of control, maybe, a warped moral code.
Could be. Makes you wonder if Walter's journey was leading him towards a more fantastical, yet still morally ambiguous future persona.
And the timeline. How does that even begin to work?
Well, surprisingly, it's not completely impossible. Walter White's story supposedly wraps up around 2010.
Right.
Willy Wonka, the Gene Wilder movie theorists focus on, came out in '71. The idea isn't literal immediate future, but more metaphorical.
Ah, metaphorical. That's crucial. It allows for a symbolic reading where Wonka's world represents aspects of Walter's past.
Exactly. Candy represents drugs, their addictive nature. The Oompa Loompas are seen as like cartel foot soldiers.
Working tirelessly in the factory. Okay.
And each of those unlucky kids represents a deadly sin being punished by these bizarre accidents. Much like Jesse's less savory associates met their often gruesome ends.
So it's a complete reimagining of a beloved children's film through the dark, morally complex lens of a gritty crime drama. It really highlights how adaptable narratives can be, how audiences find unexpected connections across genres. What else did those TikToks offer?
The TikTok user at Conspiracy Caviar, whose series you shared, posted a 7-part breakdown that went viral. It highlighted both characters' intense obsession with control, their eccentric styles, their ambiguous morality.
The obsession with control, definitely a strong link.
And the theory even suggests that Jesse Pinkman is the Charlie figure in this twisted narrative.
Jesse inherits the empire.
Yeah, the one who ultimately inherits this bizarre candy or drug empire.
The idea of Jesse as the heir to Willy Wonka's enterprise is certainly a thought-provoking and darkly humorous conclusion. It's a perfect example of how fan theories can take existing characters and storylines and just extrapolate them in wildly unexpected ways.
Okay, are you ready to dive into some potentially radioactive theories now?
Oh boy, let's hear it.
Because at number 8 on our top 10 journey, we have the idea that SpongeBob SquarePants, well, the entire underwater world of Bikini Bottom, are actually the result of nuclear testing mutations.
This is a theory that seems to resurface quite frequently, doesn't it? And when you look at some of the more unusual characteristics of the show, it's not hard to see why it resonates. It taps into a real-world historical event and applies it to this fantastical setting.
Absolutely. The premise is that Bikini Bottom isn't just quirky and colorful. It's specifically located directly beneath Bikini Atoll.
The nuclear test site.
Which, as we know from the historical documents you included, was the site of numerous U.S. nuclear tests. And the theory posits that all the characters' bizarre anatomies, their strange abilities, the surreal nature of their world, It's all due to the long-term effects of radiation.
And the crucial piece of evidence that lends a lot of weight here, as you pointed out, is the background of SpongeBob's creator, Steven Hillenburg.
Right, the marine biologist connection.
He wasn't just an animator. He was a marine biologist who actually studied ecosystems in the Pacific, including areas that were nuclear test sites.
Exactly. His firsthand experience.
Yeah.
It gives this theory a significant grounding. Think about it. A talking sponge.
Walrus, yellow.
A squirrel who lives underwater in a diving helmet.
Breathes air down there.
A crab who has a whale for daughter. These aren't exactly biologically accurate sea creatures.
No, not remotely. These seemingly fantastical elements take on a much darker, maybe more plausible explanation through the lens of nuclear mutation. The show shifts in this context from lighthearted cartoon to potentially quite pointed commentary on ecological disaster, Cold War impact.
Makes you wonder if Hillenburg consciously or unconsciously put that in there.
It does.
And it goes even deeper. The Krabby Patty secret formula, the thing everyone's obsessed with,
Plankton's lifelong quest,
theorized to be radioactive and highly addictive, explains its universal appeal and the fierce competition.
that would certainly provide a rather unsettling explanation for the obsessive devotion to a burger, as a layer of dark subtext to a comedic plot point.
Makes you question the true cost of that Krabby Patty, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those constant references to boating school, where SpongeBob always fails his test.
Perpetual frustration.
Some theorists see that as a parallel to a military academy, hinting at a hidden, more militaristic aspect to this mutated society.
A military academy. Okay, that's a stretch, maybe, but interesting.
And Plankton, the antagonist. He's not just a rival restaurant owner. He could be a literal escaped experiment.
His own mutations driving him to scheme constantly. A rogue experiment gone wrong. That's particularly intriguing as a tragic backstory.
Yeah, this theory really reframes SpongeBob from purely comedic to potentially quite poignant, if bizarre, allegory about consequences.
The consequences of human actions on the environment played out by a talking sponge. Wild.
All right, prepare yourself for a theory that might make you look at your favorite sitcoms in a whole new, possibly quite depressing light.
Oh, okay. Hit me.
At number 7 on our top 10 journey, we have the theory that The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is actually a story about death and the afterlife.
Ah, yes. This is a theory that has gained significant traction online, as you noted in the articles. It takes a seemingly feel-good premise and imbues it with this very profound, somber meaning.
The core of it is this. Will's famous one little fight back in West Philly.
Got him sent to Bel-Air.
Wasn't so little. The idea is that it was actually fatal. And Bel-Air, with all its wealth, love, no serious consequences, that's heaven.
Bel-Air is heaven. And Uncle Phil.
Uncle Phil. He's essentially God, the benevolent guardian in Will's afterlife.
The pivotal question theorists raise, and it's compelling, is why would Will be sent to such an idyllic, consequence-free life after just one little fight? It seems disproportionate.
Exactly, unless there's a deeper metaphysical reason.
Yeah.
And the interpretation of the other characters. It's fascinating. Carlton, with his rules, ego, striving for acceptance, represents ego.
Okay, I can see that.
Hillary, focus on appearances, material possessions, vanity.
It makes sense.
And Jazz,
yeah,
constantly thrown out, always comes back, represents memory, a recurring presence.
So each character becomes symbolic, aspects of the psyche or the afterlife journey itself? And the mansion?
Not just a home, it's a comfortable purgatory. A place for Will to come to terms with his death, process his past life.
Wow, that reframes everything.
And here's where it gets really interesting, maybe a little heartbreaking. The theory suggests Will's progression throughout the show. The challenges, the lessons.
His character development
actually aligns with the Kubler-Ross stages of grief. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance.
Each episode, each conflict is him subconsciously working through these stages. In heaven.
That's the idea.
That's a very insightful, layered way to look at the show's structure. Suggests an underlying emotional arc viewers might not have consciously recognized.
And the show's tonal shift later on, particularly after Uncle Phil's heart attack. More serious storylines.
Yeah, it did get a bit heavier.
Some theorists see that as potential evidence of Will nearing acceptance. The central figure in his afterlife faces mortality himself, may be preparing Will for a final transition.
It's a theory that adds significant, unexpected depth and poignancy to a show known for humor. Makes you reconsider the final moments, the overall message.
Definitely changes how you hear that theme song.
For sure. Okay, where are we off to next?
Okay, now let's take a trip to a land of magic carpets and wish-granting genies, but with a potentially dystopian twist. At number 6 on our top 10 journey, the theory that Aladdin actually takes place in a post-apocalyptic future, not ancient Arabia.
This theory really challenges our traditional understanding of Aladdin's setting, doesn't it? Instead of historical fantasy, it's proposing fallen advanced civilization, Agrabah rising from the ashes.
Pretty much.
What's the primary evidence supporting this? Well, radical reinterpretation.
The key piece that always comes up, which you highlighted, is Genie's constant stream of pop culture references.
Right, Jack Nicholson, Arsenio Hall.
He's making jokes from centuries after Aladdin's supposed time.
Yeah.
How would he know that stuff if he's been locked in a lamp for 10,000 years in ancient times?
That anachronistic element is certainly a glaring anomaly in a traditional historical setting. It strongly suggests Genie's imprisonment spanned a much longer, more recent period, or the setting itself isn't what it appears to be.
Exactly. And consider the 10,000 years. Even if Aladdin was way back, Genie knowing modern culture seems impossible unless time travel.
Yeah.
Or something else.
And a post-apocalyptic setting offers an alternative explanation.
Yeah. Maybe the world we know ended. Agrabah rebuilt over millennia, rediscovering some tech, while other tech became magic.
So a cataclysm wiped out an advanced civilization, and Agrabah emerged long after, retaining remnants of lost tech without fully understanding it.
Precisely. Think about the magic elements. Flying carpets? Could be remnants of lost AI, advanced transport.
Okay.
Jafar's powerful staff. Might be sophisticated tech, now misunderstood as magic.
Like Arthur C. Clarke's law, sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Exactly that. And even Diamond in the Rough, describing Aladdin. Could be metaphorical for survivors with unique traits, valuable in this reconstructed world. Maybe radiation-related.
That's a rather bleak interpretation of Diamond in the Rough, but it highlights how this theory imbues familiar elements with darker, tech-grounded significance.
And here's a fun little tidbit theorists love. Disney's own Kingdom Hearts video game series
Ooh, yeah.
actually places Agrabah in the distant future. Now, that could just be for the game's narrative.
But for proponents of the theory,
It's another potentially significant piece suggesting maybe even Disney has a less rigid view of Agrabah's timeline.
it's certainly an interesting coincidence, at least. Suggests creators might be open to more imaginative interpretations, even if they haven't explicitly confirmed this theory.
Makes you wonder what else is hiding in plain sight in Disney movies.
Always worth a second look.
All right, let's move on to a theory that might change how you see one of Cinema's most iconic characters, Bond. James Bond. At number 5 on our top 10 journey, the argument that James Bond isn't a single person, but rather a code name, a title passed down.
This theory offers a remarkably elegant, practical solution to some persistent inconsistencies in the Bond franchise, doesn't it? When you look at the number of actors, the shifting contexts, it raises logical questions.
Exactly. Different actors, contradictory backstories, fluctuating timelines. Trying to make it one guy's biography gets messy.
Very messy.
But the theory that James Bond is a codename inherited by different agents neatly explains all of that. Less about retcons, more about continuing a legacy under a shared identity.
The idea is James Bond isn't fixed, but a persona. Almost a psychological weapon for MI6. An elite agent gets the 007 designation, inherits the name, the skills, the license to kill, maybe even a constructed backstory to maintain the myth.
And this isn't just flimsy forum stuff. As you pointed out, a Redditor, Martini Psychosis, tried mapping all the official Bond films into one coherent timeline.
Quite the undertaking.
The sheer number of contradictions they found really lends support to the codename theory. It suggests forcing one linear narrative is futile. A more fluid understanding seems necessary.
And the concept of Bond as a mantle passed down neatly explains the varying ages and appearances across decades. It's not one man aging weirdly, it's different individuals embodying the same persona.
And there's a specific moment in Skyfall theorists often highlight. When the villain Silva, who has inside knowledge, calls M, by her real name, Olivia Mansfield.
Right, piercing the veil.
It subtly suggests these established identities, even at the top, might be somewhat constructed or masked. If M isn't always M, then maybe Bond isn't always the same person either.
The erosion of established identities within the narrative certainly adds intrigue and supports the notion that Bond could also be a cultivated, replaceable identity. Makes you wonder how much is the individual, how much is the carefully constructed persona?
Shaken, not stirred. By a different guy each time. Maybe.
Could be.
Now, for a theory suggesting a beloved teen movie might have a much darker, more psychologically complex undercurrent. Number 4 on our top 10 journey. The idea that Ferris Bueller is actually a figment of Cameron's imagination, like Tyler Durden.
This theory completely reframes Ferris Bueller's Day Off, doesn't it? Transforms a lighthearted escapist comedy into potentially a more introspective, even melancholic story about mental health.
The core observation fueling this, and it's striking when you think about it, is that Ferris primarily interacts with Cameron.
We rarely see Ferris having significant interactions with others when Cameron isn't there.
Right. The restaurant, the parade, Cameron is always present.
That lack of independent confirmation of Ferris outside his interactions with Cameron is key evidence for this interpretation. It forces us to question Ferris's reality. Is he there or a manifestation?
And when you analyze Cameron's character, neurotic, abused by his father, seemingly on the verge of a breakdown.
Yeah, he's clearly struggling.
Ferris, in this reading, becomes everything Cameron isn't but wishes he could be. Carefree, charismatic, popular, defiant.
So Ferris functions as a psychological coping mechanism, an idealized alter ego allowing Cameron to vicariously experience freedom, even just in his mind. Ferris becomes the catalyst for Cameron to rebel, perhaps in a way that's ultimately more damaging to Cameron.
But here's where it gets unsettling. Ferris drags Cameron on this epic day, but it's Cameron who bears the consequences.
The Ferrari, the emotional fallout.
It's almost like Ferris, the imaginary construct, pushes Cameron to confront fears from a safe distance, leaving Cameron with the real-world repercussions.
The fact Cameron faces the music lends a tragic irony if Ferris is imaginary. Highlights how even seemingly positive coping mechanisms can lead to more distress.
And the seemingly throwaway clue many theorists latch onto.
What's that?
During the parade scene, Ferris lip-syncs Dankeschön.
Which we learn later is Cameron's favorite song.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like a little Easter egg from Cameron's subconscious, subtly indicating Ferris's origin within Cameron's mind.
That's a very specific, compelling detail. Suggests a deep, maybe unconscious connection between Ferris's actions and Cameron's inner world. This theory really makes you reconsider whose day off it truly was.
Save Ferris, or save Cameron.
Indeed.
Okay, now let's delve into a cartoon crossover with potentially deeper, slightly disturbing implications.
Number 3.
The Flintstones are actually living after the Jetsons in a post-apocalyptic two-tiered society.
This theory connects two beloved, seemingly distinct cartoon universes in an ingenious, if bleak, and socially critical way. Fascinating example of audiences finding hidden connections.
The basic idea. Flintstones and Jetsons aren't linear time, Stone Age to Space Age, but simultaneous societal strata.
Okay.
Jetsons live high up, maybe orbital habitats, floating cities, with their future tech.
But
Flintstones are the dirty underclass on a ruined Earth below.
And the critical evidence theorists point to, which you included.
The canon crossover TV specials, where the Jetsons literally descend from their sky-high world to Earth and meet the Flintstones in bedrock.
Establishes an undeniable connection within the official canon.
Exactly. So crossovers aren't time travel, maybe, but a vertical journey. Descent from the privileged upper world to the ravaged surface.
And the Flintstones Stone Age tech?
Not ancient past, but scavenged, repurposed tech from the pre-apocalypse era. Remnants of advanced civilization, crudely rebuilt.
That reinterpretation of their primitive tech is clever? Lends logic to their aesthetic. Rudimentary tech could be functional remnants they no longer fully understand.
Think about specifics. Dino. His DNA could be consistent with future genetic pets like Astro. Continuity of genetic engineering. Animals as appliances could be a mutated, less efficient form of the Jetsons robots after a cataclysm.
Animals crudely integrated into tech functions. Grim.
Even Pebbles and Bam Bam could be future-resistant humans adapted to harsher surface conditions.
It paints a rather grim picture of societal stratification post-apocalypse, doesn't it? Elite in a tech utopia, shielded, while surface dwellers struggle with scraps. Introduces social commentary you wouldn't necessarily expect from these classics.
It's not just time periods, it's class warfare, prehistoric scale. Bedrock as a forgotten underclass beneath the Jetsons' utopia. Stark division.
Adds unexpected depth, maybe social satire. Makes you wonder if the creators ever considered these darker implications. Probably not, but it works surprisingly well.
Yabba dabba, don't look up.
Huh. Maybe. Okay, number 2 must be a big one.
Oh, it is. Prepare for a theory that might completely change how you view one of the most debated, divisive characters in Star Wars. Number 2 on our top 10 journey. The astonishing claim that Jar Jar Binks was originally intended to be a secret, powerful Sith Lord.
Ah, Darth Jar Jar. As outlandish as it sounds, this has garnered the surprisingly dedicated following, fueled by intriguing observations and even cryptic hints from those involved, as you highlighted.
The core idea still raises eyebrows. Clumsy, foolish Jar Jar wasn't comic relief, but a secret, manipulative, incredibly powerful villain. A puppet master.
What are the key pieces of evidence proponents point to? It seems so counterintuitive.
Well, theorists highlight Jar Jar's surprisingly effective, almost acrobatic combat in Phantom Menace. Seems too skillful for someone portrayed as inept.
The clumsy fool routine covering real skill.
Possibly. His unusual hand gestures, interpreted by some as subtle force manipulation, and the sheer chaos Jar Jar inadvertently causes often seems to strategically benefit the darker forces.
The argument revolves around his incompetence being a facade, a deliberate act to be underestimated, playing the fool to hide true power.
Exactly. Think about his seemingly accidental yet crucial role leading Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan to the Gungan city. Sets off the whole chain of events.
A catalyst moment.
And perhaps most damningly, it's Jar Jar who proposes granting emergency powers to Chancellor Palpatine, a pivotal moment in Palpatine's rise.
Was that just foolishness or a calculated move by a hidden Sith? That action is a major point of contention, key evidence for this theory. Hard to dismiss its significance.
And here's where the deep dive gets intense. The YouTube theorist Darth Jar Jar created incredibly detailed, almost forensic analyses of scenes.
Frame-by-frame stuff.
Yeah, highlighting subtle cues. Jar Jar's eyes moving independently like a chameleon, lips seemingly mimicking dialogue before others speak, physics-defying leaps beyond clumsy Gungan capabilities.
This level of granular, almost conspiratorial analysis delves into the visual language, searching for inconsistencies suggesting a hidden, sinister nature.
And to really add fuel to the fire, Ahmed Best, the actor who played Jar Jar,
Yes.
has cryptically confirmed in interviews that there was indeed more planned for the character, way more, and that the intense fan backlash, unfortunately, led to those plans being scrapped or altered.
That confirmation from the actor himself lends significant weight. Suggests Jar Jar's role was meant to be more substantial, perhaps even villainous. Makes you wonder what the prequels might have been if those original plans happened.
He wasn't dumb. He was Darth. Maybe. A theory that, even if not true, makes you watch Phantom Menace very differently.
It's a fascinating example of fan interpretation uncovering hidden possibilities, even if unrealized on screen. Shows the power of the audience to reinterpret stories.
And finally, we reached number 1, our most bonkers fan theory that might actually hold some water. And this one involves some seriously poignant, intergenerational toy drama.
Ooh, Toy Story. These always hit differently.
The theory.
Yeah.
Andy's mom in the Toy Story movies is actually Emily, Jesse's original heartbreakingly abandoning owner from Toy Story 2.
Ah, yes. This one is particularly resonant. Taps into the emotional core, connecting two storylines through shared history of love and loss between child and toy. Adds bittersweet depth.
The heart of it lies in a seemingly small but significant visual detail. The cowboy hat Andy wears.
The red one with the white stitching.
That one. Pixar has explicitly said it's not Woody's style, doesn't belong to him. But crucially, it perfectly matches the color and style of the hat Jesse wears.
That visual connection is very strong, isn't it? Immediately suggests a link between Andy's family and Jesse's past. Raises the question, how did that hat end up with Ander?
And when you look back at Jesse's emotional flashback in Toy Story 2, Emily abandoning her.
The Sarah McLachlan sequence. Heartbreaking.
The setting the house, the Zion furniture-style 70s, Surly 80s decor bears a striking resemblance to Andy's home in the first movie. The visual parallels are compelling.
Similarities in those details, house-style furniture, hard to dismiss as coincidence, strongly suggests potential continuity, a connection between Emily's past and Andy's present.
And here's another key piece. Andy's mom is never explicitly named.
Right. Always just Andy's mom.
This deliberate omission leaves significant room for theorizing about her past identity.
The lack of a name adds mystery, allows these intriguing connections, makes you wonder if it was intentional ambiguity.
The theory goes, Andy's mom was Emily. She outgrew Jesse. The lingering guilt might subconsciously affect her.
Explaining why she's so encouraging of Andy's deep bond with Woody and his toys.
Exactly. Almost like she's making amends for her past by fostering a healthier relationship between her son and his playthings.
That adds significant emotional depth to Andy's mom. Gives her motivations beyond just being supportive. Unresolved childhood baggage influencing her parenting.
And to really add fuel and credibility, director Lee Unkrich, Toy Story 3 director, co-director of 2.
What did he say?
Actually retweeted this very theory back in 2014 with nothing but a single, incredibly suggestive O emoji.
The eyes emoji.
Yeah.
In the cryptic world of Pixar creators, that's practically a confirmation.
Right. It strongly suggests the filmmakers are aware and might find it plausible or even intended. Truly makes you see the relationship between Andy, his toys, and his mom in a new, emotionally resonant light.
It's not just about toys, it's about intergenerational emotional connections, the lasting impact of love, even when we move on. Wow.
Makes you reflect on the hidden histories our own childhood toys might carry.
Definitely gives you pause.
Well, there you have it. A mind-bending top 10 journey into the wonderfully weird world of fan theories, all sparked by your top research. Who knew Dora might be navigating a post-apocalyptic wasteland, or that your beloved toys might carry the weight of past abandonment? We sincerely hope this exploration has given you some serious aha moments and offered a fresh, perhaps slightly unsettling perspective on cherished stories. Which of these theories blew your mind the most? What other seemingly crazy ideas have you stumbled upon online? We wholeheartedly encourage you to keep digging, keep questioning narratives, and keep those intriguing theories coming our way. Because, as we've seen today, sometimes the most outlandish ideas hold a surprising kernel of truth, or at least a fascinating new way of looking at stories we think we know. And you go forth and maybe watch those familiar movies and shows with a newfound sense of suspicion. And remember to share, rate, follow, and go fact yourself.
What's truly remarkable about these fan theories, regardless of whether they hold any official truth, is the way they demonstrate the incredible power of storytelling and the active role audiences play in creating meaning. They highlight our innate desire to connect, interpret, and sometimes even rewrite narratives that resonate with us. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of this top 10 journey isn't determining which theories are correct, but exploring what they reveal about our own imaginations and the enduring allure of the stories we tell ourselves.